Hello and welcome to this demonstration of the EasyKnot. My name's Jan Dwyer and I'm from Jan Dwyer Jewel Design. I'm the designer and creator of the EasyKnot. Now the EasyKnot is a pearl and bead knotting comb designed by me to solve a problem I was having closing tight, neat, consistent knots between my pearls. And the EasyKnot works differently to other knotting tools in that instead of pushing the knot against the pearl or bead, the EasyKnot pushes the pearl or bead against the knot to close a consistent tight knot with no unsightly gaps. I'll talk you through the EasyKnot comb and then I'll do a demonstration to show you how it works. Now the EasyKnot is a small tool, lightweight tool that's really easy to use. Now you can see it has 5 sections, 1mm to 5mm. Now these are for using for either the size of pearl or bead that you're using or the thread that you're using. For example, this little strand here, I'm going to show you how we knot these with the EasyKnot. And you can see there's a larger pearl here and yet there's a tiny little garnet just here. So to determine which of these sections you use for the pearls, simply pop the pearl or bead against the EasyKnot. Now that one is quite a large pearl, but that's not going to slip through. As long as your pearl or bead sits on the outside of this open section, that's fine, because we're going to use the EasyKnot to push the pearl, so it needs to sit without slipping through. So as we go down this little strand, I've got a tiny little garnet here. Now obviously if we use this one, it's not going to work all the way down. So what I would do is I would use the 1mm because that sits on the outside. So we can knot anything from a 1mm way beyond a 5mm, any shape or size. But it also means that you can use different threads. For pearl knotting and you're using silk, then obviously the 1mm is fine. If you're going to use a chunkier thread, like you're going to use maybe some of your leatherette cords or something, then you can move up the comb as necessary. Okay, now when you get your EasyKnot, this is the packaging. We've got a QR code which will take you to this demonstration. So when you get your EasyKnot home, you want to recap on what I've just said, scan this code and go to the website and it will show you how to use the EasyKnot. Also on the reverse we have photographic and written instructions, and I've tried to keep it quite simple so that it's the bullet points of how to use it. So even without scanning that, you could read through this and learn how to use the EasyKnot. Okay, so let's get going and I'll show you how we make nice consistent knots with the EasyKnot. I'll just move the packaging out of the way. Right, okay, so we've already determined that this is quite a large pearl and I know that I can use the 5mm. But in fact I could use any one because the pearl will sit on the outside of any one of those open sections. Right, so to create the knot, I'm going to use a pin, but you could use a T-pin or an awl or however you normally create your loops before you close up your knot. So what I'm going to do an overhand knot, pop that pearl through. Imagine that you've already started your necklace or bracelet at this side, so you'll have your clasp on there and you're ready to do your main body of knotting. So now I've got an open knot just there. So I'm going to pop in a pin, but as I say, you can use a pin or an awl, and I'm just going to pull the thread so that knot moves to sit next to the pearl that we're going to knot against. Then I'm going to bring in my next pearl or bead, and in this case what I'm doing is I'm using some larger, smaller, different shapes just to show the versatility of the EasyKnot. Okay, so then what we're going to do, we're going to take out the pin. Now what we've got here, we've got an open knot, so you can see that knot is quite open just there. If I pull this thread without doing anything here, that knot will move along the thread and leave a gap. Okay, so now what we do, we bring in the EasyKnot, and this is a smaller pearl, so I'm going to go for number 2 because I know it will sit on the outside of the number 2, and all we need to do is pop the EasyKnot. I'm just going to move you over a little bit. There we go. Pop the EasyKnot over the thread against the pearl, pull the thread from behind just gently You don't have to put too much pressure on, just gently, and you see that knot closes up instantly. So there we've got our first knot, which sits really nice and neat against our pearl. So again, overhand knot, pop your pearls through, pop your pin in against that pearl, bring in. Now I've got a bit of a sort of nuggety shaped pearl there. Okay, so again, take out your pin. Now this time the pearl it's wider one side than the other, so I'm going to go for the thinnest side. So this is the thinner section of the pearl, so I need to just determine a size that it's not going to slip through. So I know a 3 will be okay, or a 2, so I'm going to go down the lower end and I'm going to use a 2 in this case. Again, just pop your EasyKnot over the pearls, pull the thread from behind and watch that knot close up. There. So there's no you don't have to fiddle about sort of pushing the knot or squeezing the pearl against the knot, or the EasyKnot does all of that for you. I'll just do a couple more and then I'll show you how we get onto different shapes. The problem I was having is I struggle, I've got arthritis in my finger, so I struggle pushing the knot against the pearl. So for me, having the EasyKnot that will do that for me is it's a godsend. So there, so just pull that, and again overhand knot, and we're going to get to the tiny bead next. Pull that, bring in your next bead, which is quite a tiny one. As we said before, we'd use the 1mm section here, so we're going to bring in the 1mm section, bring that, pull that through, and you see that knot closes up. So we've got a nice row of really neat knots. I'm just going to do a few more just to show you how that works. And it means that you can get some speed as well into your knotting. Not that you want to rush it, because you want to enjoy that process. But if you're making to sell, then obviously time is money. And I'm going to go for number 2. Pull that, closes up that knot. And it's just a really easy, relaxing, pretty foolproof way of getting a consistent knot, a professional finish to your jewellery. So again, we've got a smaller bead there, so I'm going to go for a 1mm just to make sure that it doesn't slide through. So again, pop your EasyKnot. Actually, if I turn it round, maybe you can see a little bit better there. Pop your EasyKnot in there and pull that thread. And I'm actually doing this now, pulling away from me. So we've got a little knot there. I would feel more comfortable doing it the other way, but just for the camera so that you can see what we're doing. Pop that in, and now we've got a cube bead. So I'm going to do that. And again, we're going to pop that in, say, a number 2, because I know that'll sit on the outside of a number 2. Pull that thread, and that closes up that knot. So you get really consistent knots on any size or shape of pearl or bead, and it's a really easy tool to use, and it's just, for me, it's been really, it means that I can carry on doing my knotting even though sometimes my hands are a little bit sore, but that's the EasyKnot, and I hope that you enjoy using the EasyKnot, and I hope that it's useful to you. So in short, the EasyKnot is a lightweight, affordable knotting tool that will help you create consistent professional knots every time. So thank you for watching this demonstration, and take care.